Hey guys, this is Jack.
What's up? This is Sam, and today we have a special guest that we've been hanging out with. His name is Wesley Winford, and he is Church of the Highlands, Birmingham campus Central Music Director. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the top dog. They call him T-Bone, best kind of steak in the world. But man, he can shred on some guitar. If you saw our story, his pedal board is bigger than yours. And so, anyways, Wesley, you want to give a quick spiel about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Wesley. I grew up around the Birmingham, Alabama area, and been at Highlands for since 2007. I lose track sometimes of how many years, so I just know what year I started. I've been playing guitar for a while, probably I lose track of that too. Since 2001, I know, however many years that is. So yeah, I've been with Highlands, and I've been on staff for a few years as well. Went through Highlands College, and heard about these guys, and found out they weren't too far away from me. So I was like, hey, let's do a video together.
Heck yeah, linking up's awesome. So Jack actually goes to school in Birmingham at Sanford, and he knows Wesley because he's plugged in at Church of the Highlands. So just quick blurb, if you're not plugged into a local church, get plugged in. It's super important. One, for community, but just you don't really get to experience the fullness of being a Christian and a believer unless you're in a local church plugged in somewhere. So definitely want to give that blurb. And if you're in Alabama, there's probably a Church of the Highlands campus near you. But either way, so we just wanted to have another casual conversation kind of about some different topics. But so I'm going to just start with the first thing, and we'll say just parts. So Wesley, what's your take on parts? What's the importance of parts, learning parts, that kind of stuff?
If you've ever met any worship guitarist at Highlands, or if you are one, you've known that I'm the parts guy at Highlands, and I have been from the start. And it started from when I first started playing guitar. I'll tell this quick story from how it all started. It's kind of funny. When I first started playing guitar, I was, I think, in 6th grade, and all my friends played guitar too, and they were playing Smoke on the Water, but the incorrect way in the wrong key on the low E string. And my dad had a tape of that song, of the band Deep Purple who played Smoke on the Water, and I would listen to it in his truck. And when I got my guitar, I tried to play along with it how my friends played it, but it was wrong. It didn't sound right. And so I picked out by ear how to play it the correct way, in the correct key. And I went, and the whole time I was telling my friends, I was like, hey, y'all are playing it wrong. And they're like, no, you're not. It's like, they thought they were right, and I was wrong. And then one day I took the tape and the boombox to the school, and I played it along with the track and blew everyone's mind.
Take that.
And so here I am now with doing the same thing. So, progressed over the years of, listening to songs and wanted to be, perfect with figuring out guitar parts, however way I could do that. And, now I've got it easy with listening to multi-tracks and stuff. And still, I just dive in and learn the parts note for note, learn the effects, the delays. And I just want to strive for perfection. And my YouTube channel kind of blew up from that. Like, I started doing covers. And then...
it'll be linked below, too, by the way. Wesley Winford, we'll have that link. So.
Yeah, so really just started doing those videos, and just to actually help out our church, the Highlands, and to resource the guitarists in that church. But so many people, like, from all over the world started commenting, like, thank you so much for your help. And I'm like, man, I'm just posting these for my church.
Right.
But it was really cool because it was songs that everyone's doing in church. And my big thing is I want this to be for free. I want this to be resource to, anyone who wants to learn how to play a song. And I've got so many comments from people saying, I'm just learning how to play guitar, but I can pick out these parts through your videos. And I just love hearing stories like that from these videos helping people all around the world. So.
Yeah, that's huge. I'm going to add 2 things. So we were talking at lunch about parts and stuff. And so back in the day before multi-tracks, the way that we would learn parts, because I was similar to Wesley, early on, when I started playing electric for worship and stuff, I realized most of the songs were only 4 or 5 chords. And then I realized quickly, too, that the things in the songs that separate, every song from every other song are the, buried in the background auxiliary parts, or the, the lead lines and that kind of stuff. And when I realized that, I realized like I need to start listening for those parts, because if you don't have those going on, every song sounds exactly the same. And one of the cool things about Scripture is one of the first characteristics of God that we see is His creativity. And so, it's cool that folks are creative enough to take these 4-chord or 5-chord songs and make them sound like completely different songs with what's going on in the background, and rhythmic changes or single note lines or double stops, whatever, or even effects, using those things to be creative. It's just really cool. So that, back in the day when we would do it, and we were talking about this at lunch again, it was awesome. But I would have my speakers turned like all the way up, because most mixes have the guitars and stuff buried in the back. And so I'd have the speaker like next to my ear trying to pick out what the guitar player was doing. And I'd spend hours on one song trying to get it right, and who knows if I was hearing overtones or if I was hearing like the keys or whatever, but I did my best to learn the parts verbatim. And I just remember like being in context where people were like, I've never heard the parts of this song before. And I'm like, what, really? That's like what the guitar player does. And so, it's just cool to be able to bring that element to a song. And Wesley's a master of that. So is Jack. And so that was just crazy. So did you have that same experience when you were learning parts before multi-tracks? Just like, yes. How did you do it?
I would go on YouTube and look up any sort of like instrumental, no vocal stuff and see if that existed, which a lot of times it didn't.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the times I would try to do that, and then if I couldn't do that, I'd listen to the song on iTunes or whatever, and I would unplug a speaker. So a lot of times parts were panned on certain sides, and I could hear one better if I unplugged it that way. Or man, just hours and hours of just listening over and over and trying to pick it out. I had this pedal, this Digitech like multi-effects pedal that
back in the day,
it allowed you to plug in an iPod to it and record like, I think it was like 30 seconds up to of audio, and then play it back in like whatever, like half speed, quarter speed. And so I would do that so much. I would piece the song together, and just learn it note for note that way.
So multi-tracks, thank you for what you do, because it makes our work like literally a fourth of the time. It's crazy. Jack, you got anything?
Yeah, so when it comes to approaching parts, like I know that you said you learn parts pretty much verbatim, note for note, and then effect-wise, but I know that you had said that Highlands is kind of doing something different with just trying out one electric guitar player on a Sunday. If you are the only electric guitar player, and say, maybe you're not using tracks or something, how would you go about approaching a song that's got like 5 different guitar parts? How do you approach being the only guitar player? Does that change effects? Like, how does?
Yeah, at Highlands, we a lot of the time, or a lot of our campuses are only, they're smaller than our main campus, so a lot of them are, one guitarist. So, and on my channel, I always do rhythm and lead, but I try to focus like the lead videos that I do, like, are the main hooks that you're gonna play, that you're hearing in the song, and then like rhythm is always secondary, like chords or secondary parts. Very rarely, sometimes I'll have to combine parts from different videos. But yeah, when I'm like diving into multi-tracks and trying to figure out the parts, and there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guitar tracks.
Long ago.
Yeah, they love some guitar, which is awesome. So I'm listening for those parts, and I'm trying to find them in the original audio. So like I'll have a Logic session or Ableton session open, and I'll drop the MP3 in there, and I'll just go back and forth listening to solo the MP3, try to hear the part, see if it's poking out in the mix, then go find it in the multi-tracks. And then I'll just, piece the song together and find all the parts. But then also thinking in mind, is it cohesive? Is it, because a lot of times you'll have one track and then it might be capoed, and then another track has, it's open string. And so, try to make that cohesive with one player. And, a lot of times as one guitar player, we know that you still have to cover a lot of ground. So a lot of times it can get kind of crazy if there's a lot of guitar parts going on. So yeah, I do my best to combine parts, but I'm also, I'm thinking about how front of house guy is what he's wanting. I trust our front of house guy at Highlands, where the campus I play at, and he's done it. He's been doing audio for a while, and I really trust his ear, and what he wants from the song, and he knows that I'm going to play the parts verbatim, and so he knows he knows what to expect, and I know like a lot of times he doesn't want big chunky chords or something, and I've known that from years with being with him, and so I'm not going to play the chunky chords when he doesn't want it. So just a lot of developing relationship with other people who are out in the crowd, because you can, or in front of house. So because a lot of times I feel like your in-ears mix can lie to you, what it feels like you need for the song. So I try to trust other people's judgment that are listening at front of house, listening in broadcast, for their opinion versus mine, because I'm always thinking, oh, what's the coolest guitar part I can play, or what's the I should always play the part, and but I need to do what sounds best for the mix and the just the song itself. So a lot of times we're not having to change a part, but it's just maybe adapting, maybe changing the effects a little more, especially if I'm the only guitar player, or even like you said, if you're not running tracks, which sometimes I've been a part of some services where. Like our college services, we kind of go a little more raw with that and use no tracks, and I've played for a few of those, and so I'll try to compensate for maybe a little more verb, maybe a little more delay, fill out more space. If we're a 4 or 5 piece band with no tracks, it kind of reminds me of the old school way, like how we used to do it.
Isn't that crazy? Like 10 years ago, like tracks weren't a thing.
Yeah.
Insane.
It's crazy how much we rely on tracks now, which is a good thing. And it also kind of reminds me of how much you forget about how the order of the song goes when the guy that's not in there, like looking at your friends and like, where are we?
We're on the chorus now.
Also good to have a great MD that knows their song too.
Yeah, when I was MDing, I'd be like, we're on the chorus now? Like,
The best is when like the song, every section of the song starts on different chords. So there's like a 1 and 5 and a 6 and a 4. Just cluster chord.
You guys are spoiled now.
It's a disaster, but it's awesome.
So, I know that you have written a lot for Highlands and written a lot of cool guitar parts for them. How, like Sam was saying, it's crazy how we can take just the same 4 or 5 chords and turn them into different sounding songs. How do you approach guitar, lead and rhythm, and maybe you've got 5 songs on an album that are all in like say the key of A. Like, how do you go about making parts that sound different and sound unique to that song when you really are keeping within the same chord structure?
Okay, yeah. When I'm writing guitar parts, I'm always we've got a lot of producers at Highlands, just creating stuff for a song, and so when I'm writing the parts, I'm really kind of going with their flow, like what they're wanting for the song, and how they want it to feel. Like a lot of times they'll give me a reference of a song of how they kind of want it to feel, and so I'll go listen to that song. See if I need to kind of pull any ideas from that, and so that's a great idea. And so if there's no like vision for the song, and I just can do whatever I want, then, which it happens sometimes, it's fun. I kind of do my own judgment of like what I'm feeling of the song, or what am I feeling like this is more of a Coldplay vibe, or is this more of a whatever band vibe. I said Coldplay because I love them. I love Johnny Buckland. He's awesome. I wish he was a worship guitarist. He's inspired me a lot. So yeah, I'll do that. And a lot of times if I'm jamming at my house or something, just honestly it doesn't happen a lot now, but I used to jam a lot at my house or my apartment before I was married, and so I'd create a lot of stuff, and then a lot of hooks and stuff would come out of that. Just jamming or just mindlessly soloing. And I know it's kind of funny to say that you're just mindlessly soloing, but sometimes good riffs come out of that.
Yeah.
And even like I'll do that with if I'm trying to write a guitar part for a song. I'll just loop the song, and I'll just just shred sometimes, and sometimes some really cool notes happen, and it's funny how that happens sometimes. And so I'll do a lot of different approaches to that, just seeing what I feel, and just sometimes just messing around and see if something cool comes out of that.
Yeah.
So, and always record it on my phone, so I have a big bank of stuff. And very rarely, sometimes we'll be I'm trying to pull from I need a part real quick. Where can I put this part? And so I'll go through my phone and see. I'll label them. What key they're in, and usually what tempo or capo or whatever. And I'll go and find a part, and that's happened on a few of Highland's albums. I've taken parts that I've had from voice memos on my phone, and usually I have to adapt the key a little bit and whatever. And I know our song "Here I Surrender." I definitely came up with an intro like that, and that's the intro you hear on the album. Was one from my voice memos on my phone.
That's amazing.
That I literally was just scrolling through. I was like, "Oh, here's a cool one."
Yeah.
And that's what was on the album. So, yeah.
That's awesome. You got anything else?
No.
Is there anything you want to add?
Just thanks for having me.
Of course.
I'm stoked to be here and just to do more videos with friends.
Heck yeah.
So it's been awesome.
It's a blast. Well, if you made it to the end of the video, you are you're a gold star student.
Yeah,
we
gold star
appreciate
student.
you guys. But so we're gonna give Wesley the honor of ending the video with our favorite line. So Wesley,
Appreciate you guys.
yeah.